Nobody expects the normal part of a flight to be the dangerous part. Because if you get on a plane, the story in your head is pretty simple. Take off, you get to altitude, and then relax. But this crash happened in the window that feels safest, right after takeoff, when the plane was already in the air, already committed, and then suddenly had to come back down. Welcome to Why It's Trending Daily. I'm Hank, and this is where I break down the stories that everyone's suddenly Googling, and I explain to you why they matter. So here's the reveal. A private business jet crashed Thursday at Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina, erupted into flames and killed 7 people, including retired NASCAR star Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their 2 children. And before we go any further, we're going to keep this factually clean because this is a family tragedy that also happens to be a major public safety story. So here's what we know as of now in order. The crash happened at Statesville Regional Airport, about 45 miles north of Charlotte. Now, this isn't exactly some random airstrip either. Statesville is known for corporate aviation facility used by Fortune 500 companies and several NASCAR teams. Or in other words, this is the type of place where private flights are routine, where business jets come and go, and where the people on board usually have enough experience around aviation to treat it as normal. Now, the timeline. The plane took off Thursday morning. Now, shortly after takeoff, it turned back toward the airport, and then it crashed while attempting to land. And the sequence here matters, because turning back immediately after takeoff usually means something changed and fast. It suggests the pilot believed continuing the flight was actually a greater risk. And that is when things escalated. Video from WSOC TV showed first responders rushing onto the runway with flames burning near the scattered wreckage. The plane didn't exactly land hard, it didn't slide off, it erupted into a large fire. Now here's the part that people keep trying to jump past. Investigators have said it's way too early to determine what the cause of the crash actually was. There was some drizzle and clouds at the time, according to AccuWeather, but nobody has officially said if weather was actually the cause of this. And until they do, the only honest thing to say is we don't know why it turned back just yet. We just know that it did. Now, let's talk about the people on board. According to a joint statement released by the victims' families, there were 7 people aboard the plane. That includes Greg Biffle, his wife Christina Biffle, their son Ryder, and Greg Biffle's daughter Emma. Now, the statement also identified 3 other victims, Craig Wadsworth, Dennis Dutton, and Dennis Dutton's son, Jack, all described as beloved in the NASCAR community. And the statement is exactly what you'd expect from a family dealing with something incomprehensible. They described an immeasurable void. Now, who exactly was Greg Biffle? Well, if you don't follow NASCAR, here's the real context. Biffle was 55. He won more than 50 races known across NASCAR's 3 national circuits, including 19 Cup Series wins. He won championships in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, becoming the first driver to win titles in both. And he spent almost his entire career driving for Roush Fenway Racing, headquartered about 40 miles south of the crash site. So this didn't just hit NASCAR fans alone. It hit the actual ecosystem around NASCAR. Teams, crews, owners, and the entire North Carolina racing community. But there's another reason that this story is currently exploding. Biffle wasn't known only as a driver. He was also known for his humanitarian relief work. ESPN notes he was remembered for piloting a helicopter supplying aid after Hurricane Helene. He even won a Myers Brothers Award in 2024 for his humanitarian aid efforts tied to Helene. And one of those stories included here is almost surreal. During one trip, a trapped man signaled him with a mirror and Biffle was able to land and provide supplies. And Biffle later described how one rescue turned into 4,000 messages after it went viral. So when people say, why is this trending so hard? This is why. This wasn't just a sports figure. This was someone widely viewed as a genuinely good, active, helpful presence, especially in North Carolina. Now let's talk about the aircraft, because this is where people start spiraling into conspiracy territory if you don't keep things grounded. The plane was a Cessna 550, a mid-sized business jet. An aviation safety expert described it as popular and having an excellent reputation in the industry. Flight records show the plane was registered to a company run by Greg Biffle. It typically seats 6 to 8 passengers, okay? And that matters because there were 7 people on board, meaning it was within typical capacity. Now the route. The plane was scheduled to fly to Sarasota, Florida, then to Treasure Cay Airport in the Bahamas, and then return. So this wasn't a mystery mission or anything suspicious. It was a planned travel day. Now, another detail, the plane was built in 1981. Now, that doesn't automatically mean anything bad. Older aircraft can be maintained and flown safely. Everybody knows that. But it does put attention on maintenance, inspection, history, upgrades, and mechanical reliability because age changes the probability landscape here. And this is where it turns from tragedy to bigger questions. Because private aviation in America is a parallel universe of sorts. It's everywhere around elite business and sports. It's treated like a normal commute. But when something goes wrong, it goes wrong in a way that's immediate, brutal, and final. There's no pull over to the side of the road. There's no, I'll just get off at the next stop. When a plane turns back after takeoff, it's because the pilot believes time is running out. And in this case, 7 people died. Now, the response from the community shows the true scale of all this. Roush Fenway team owner Jack Roush called Biffle a dear friend and said his contributions were immeasurable. NASCAR released a statement calling him more than a champion driver, highlighting his relief work. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein singled him out for courage and compassion, and multiple other figures, Jeff Gordon, Richard Petty, posted tributes to Biffle, which tells you this wasn't a niche loss. This was a loud, community-shaking event. Now, the why this matters to you part, because if you're not a NASCAR fan, something like this can feel distant. But I'm telling you, it's not. This matters because it's a reminder of how much modern life runs on systems we don't think about until they actually fail. Corporate aviation, private travel, regional airports serving major industries, and the public assumption that these systems are safe enough to be background noise. But when something fails in aviation, especially right after takeoff, the margin for recovery shrinks to almost zero. And the only thing between we're turning around and everyone is gone can be minutes. It also matters because the information environment, well, it gets ugly and fast. When investigators say too early to determine cause, people fill that vacuum with just a bunch of garbage. So the responsible position right now is simple. Stick to the confirmed facts, watch for official findings, and don't let the internet turn a family tragedy into an entertainment event. Here's the decisive ending here. The plane took off, it turned back. It crashed trying to land. 7 people passed away, including Greg Biffle, his wife, and their 2 children. And until investigators say what actually happened, the most important thing you can do is separate the reality, confirmed documented facts, from all the noise out there. Because that's what determines whether we learn from these moments or just consume them. I'm Hank, here to explain the cast so you don't have to. If you want more of this, you know what to do.